Hey guys, today I wanted to do a review of Prismacolor Premier Colored Pencils and specifically how well they perform for coloring. So if you are new to coloring and you were trying to figure out what the best materials are to use in your coloring books, I wanted to talk about these Prismacolor Premier pencils and talk about the pros of them, the cons of them, and what I think. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos. I have other coloring book reviews. I always really appreciate that, and I will be making more coloring related videos in the future. So if you're interested in that, be sure to subscribe so you will be the first to know when I post new videos. So first, just an introduction to Prismacolor. First, I just wanted to give a overview of Prismacolor Premier Colored Pencils. Prismacolor does have several different lines of pencils. They have pencils that are erasable. They have ones, the Scholar line, which is meant more for students. But the Prismacolor Premier pencils are the ones that I have been using. The prices of the pencils, I last checked on Amazon, and every time I've bought the pencils, I've purchased them on Amazon, and they've always had some sort of discount or deal. Last time I checked, the 24 pack is $34, the 48 pack is around $40, and the 72 pack is $53, and it just kind of goes up from there if you want any larger packs. So now let's get started in terms of what I like and what I don't like. These pencils are super, super creamy, and they go on so smoothly. I really love them for that reason. To show you, this is color Chartreuse, which is 989. This came in the 48 pack. And if I go to a new page with this and I start coloring in, it just goes on so smoothly. It's just a very, very vibrant color. And I think a lot of people who are new to coloring may steer away from colored pencils because they think that colored pencils will give them sort of a muted color, and they may move towards something like markers or gel pens because they think that that's the only way to get a really vibrant color. And I'm here to tell you that is not true. Prismacolor pencils really do give you a very, very bright, vibrant color. But the nice thing is you have some variation, because if you're more heavy-handed with the pencil, you will get more of a vibrant color. But you can also press down a little bit lighter and get more of a lighter color there. So that's something that's really nice about colored pencils. This is one of the drawings in the Secret Garden that I have completed with Prismacolor pencils. I have a few other ones. Here's another one. Here's the last one I did. This is all with colored pencils. As you can see, the colors are very rich. I really love these pencils for how saturated you can get the colors. Also, another thing that I love about these pencils is you can buy them just as individual pencils. So for me, that's really great because, especially in these coloring books, I like to reuse the same colors over and over again that are my favorites. And it's really great to be able to go to a craft store or an art supply store and just buy that one single pencil and not have to buy a whole set. And that's something that you do really want to keep in mind. Some other colored pencil brands, they only sell them in packs, so you will have to buy a whole pack to get the colors you want. And this is especially important if you're looking for like one specific unique color that probably the less popular the color is, it may only be sold in, the really large packs. But with Prismacolor, you can go to the craft store and just buy individual pencils. Those pencils probably go around $1 to $2 each. The other thing I like about these pencils is that they are super easy to blend. All of these leaves I did with multiple colors. The trunk of the tree, I really like blending other colors, different colors together. And it's really nice when the colored pencils just blend really easily. They're so soft and creamy. I mean, they really are a pleasure to work with. And so I have been using Prismacolor pencils for basically all of my coloring so far. That being said, unfortunately, there are a few downsides of these pencils that you will want to keep in mind. Because the lead is so soft in these pencils, I find myself constantly having to sharpen them, especially with a lot of these coloring books that have these like tiny little areas to color in, like these little tiny leaves. I know the Secret Garden has a ton of these tiny little things to color in, and it's really hard if you are using dull pencils. That is kind of a hassle, and if that's something that you think will really bother you, then you may want to look for a pencil that has more of a hard tip that is not going to get dull really fast. And then the other downside is, because the lead is so soft and because you have to sharpen it so much, you run through the pencils super quickly. So this is my example of this little guy. And this pencil, as you can see, it is very, very short. To compare it, this is a brand new pencil that I have not used yet, and this is the short pencil. So clearly it is a lot smaller, and I basically went through this whole thing just from this one page, coloring in these leaves on this tree. And so that's kind of a pain to go through the pencils so quickly. Another problem that I ran into these is I do have an issue with the tips breaking. It's not a huge problem, but I do run into this. And the problem with it is once the tip breaks, you have to sharpen it so much more, and they just get so short so quickly. So I think that is partially my fault, because I am pretty heavy-handed with the pencils in order to get a really rich color. But it is something to mention because I do find this to be a little bit of a problem. The final problem that I have with these pencils is they do generate a fair amount of dust. So because of that, I find myself having to frequently sort of blow on the page or using my eraser to pick up the little dust pieces. So again, I don't think this would be quite as much of a problem with a harder tip colored pencil, but honestly, I think it's just kind of a price that you have to pay if you want that soft, creamy finish. And unfortunately, there's no perfect medium. Overall, it's a really great color pencil for coloring. Of course, you have to keep in mind the negatives that I talked about, but overall, I think that the quality of these pencils really outweigh any of the negative parts of it. And I think if you're getting into coloring, it's really worth it to invest in a high quality set of colored pencils. You will notice a difference between this and just, traditional Crayola pencils. They really are different, and you will notice it. So I think that, if you have this money to spend on them, get some nice colored pencils, and I would definitely recommend these. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe. I always love to see new subscribers. Thanks. Hope to see you next time.